And we roll on the Joey Jones Show, presented by Mugshots Grill and Bar on Airport Boulevard. Thanks for watching on this Saturday morning. Time to focus on what most people talk about when we talk about Louisiana Monroe, and that is their offense. And they're kind of in a Jekyll and Hyde type of team. You know, one day they'll score 7, the next day they score 60. You know, so it's kind of a matter of what they bring.
Well, they're definitely capable with their quarterback, Colton Browning. Everybody knows about him in this league. He's kind of, you think of the Sun Belt Conference, you kind of think of him. He's the guy that's been here for 3 or 4 years and kind of dominated the league. Makes a lot of plays, scrambles around and makes plays. And when he scrambles, you don't know where he's going to throw it. He may throw it shallow, he may throw it midline, he may throw it deep, he may throw it back across the field. He may, you know, the ball could be anywhere, or he may run it for 20 yards. And so he's kind of like, I call him, just a really good backyard quarterback because he kind of plays ball that way. He's extremely smart and really knows the game.
Well, and the thing is, too, when he's healthy, and he is healthy now, we remember him again in that Arkansas game a couple of years ago, scrambling on that 4th down and then on the 2-point conversion for the win. He's just tough to contain.
He is, and the coach has done a great job this week of preparing us for that, staying in our rush lanes, and that's been a big point of emphasis, obviously.
So what are some of the things besides Colton Browning that they can do? I mean, do they have a pretty good run game?
Yeah. The difference this year and last year is they got a big running back, about 225 pounds. They really pound it up in there and run the power, run a lot of split zone, run a kind of a lead play in there. So they're gonna threaten you inside the tackles this year. Where last year they kind of would do it, but it really wasn't much of a threat. They were just so good in the perimeter.
Now, defensively for us, I think we played pretty well, especially the last couple of games, and we played well, especially in that first half against Navy. I mean, we've gotten some confidence, I think, defensively.
We have. We're playing well. I'm just glad we're not playing triple option again. But
for joining us on the Joey Jones Show, Coach. Appreciate it. And let's talk about how the defense has been playing, because you look at the Western Kentucky game all the way back there, Kent State, Arkansas State. Defense has played pretty well.
Sure. Yeah, we've had our moments, and I think we've progressed throughout the season and gotten better. And one thing the players have done is they really started to understand, what we want them to do and the new scheme, and really done a good job with keeping up with, film study and things like that. And they progressed as far as the season goes.
And you were on the show at the beginning of the season. And how have they progressed? I mean, what's been the big key? Is it just experience at this level?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously experience. We got a lot of seniors in the front 7 that have helped kind of lead some of the young guys along, and then just each week you can just see them each week starting to understand. Early in the year we were giving up some big plays in the passing game, and I think we've kind of adjusted a little bit on that, and I think a lot of it's just the kids understanding what it is they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to do it, what the offense is trying to do, and now they're starting to study their opponent a little bit more and know what they're need to be looking for whenever they do that.
What are some of the things that you say, we're doing this well, we need to do this a little better?
There's earlier in the year we probably created more turnovers than we're creating in the last few weeks. Some of that's got to do with the offensive personnel that we play against and the type of offenses. We've done a better job of getting off the field on 3rd down, which we weren't doing at the beginning of the year. Red zone is some things that we need to focus on because we're not as good there. It's kind of done this a little bit all year. It's kind of does good on this, and all of a sudden it kind of elevates to here. But it all kind of starts on 1st down, because if you can get them in favorable situations for the defense, it's obviously harder for them, and vice versa what the offense wants to do.
And we know we're a very physical defense, but talk about mentally. Talk about the mental toughness of this defensive unit as a whole.
I think these guys really are. It starts up front with Ramel Jones, Alex Page, Montavious Williams, Pat Moore, Ricky Williams, Bryson James. I'm sure I'm going to I'm going to miss a few guys here and there, but those guys are really hard-nosed guys. They show up to work every day. And that's probably what's been the strength of our defense, are those front 7. And we've got some good players in the secondary, but those guys have been around for a while with Coach and the program, and they've really done a good job of maturing and carrying the rest of the team and kind of developing us as a defense.
And Coach, you talk about the defense, and that's going to be huge as we get this home stretch, because we got 3 huge conference games.
No doubt. Defense wins games for sure, and there's no doubt about it. And our guys come to play every week, and I feel like they're playing physical, they're playing smarter. The big plays haven't been as big in the last few games. Early in the year we gave up a few, so we're getting better and better and better. And one thing I want to mention as well is, on offense, where I think we're tied for 11th in the country in the least amount of turnovers, and doing really well there on offense. And we're having a lot less penalties, and we're doing the right things And so we just got to keep plugging, and good things are going to happen.
Now, you say defense wins championships. Is that tough for an offensive guy to admit?
No, I care less. You know, we went 2-0. That's fine with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, let's talk about you and your progression as a coach. How have you grown? How have you progressed as a coach since the last time you were here?
Last time, you know, I think a lot of it's just probably understanding of the conference a little bit, understanding of the players, because even though I was here in January, you're still learning these guys as you go. You learn how those guys understand things, how they are motivated, you know, whether it's, you know, getting on a guy or it's actually patting one on the back or, you know, those type things. And that's something I think as a coach in general you have to do, is you have to coach certain guys different ways. I think that's something that our staff's done a really good job of, and I think a lot of it's because we spent so much time with these guys and you know, we kind of learn people. So.
I know you've seen a whole lot of Monroe on tape, so got them tonight. What do you see when you look at them offensively?
You know, it's like Coach said earlier, the quarterback is the guy that makes them go, and, you know, he's probably one of the premier quarterbacks in this league. Was injured earlier in the year, but, you know, he is the guy, and he does a really good job of distributing the ball to the people that need the ball, and a lot of it's based off what the looks the defense gives them. Probably doesn't run the ball quite as much as he did last year and even earlier in the season. Really good skilled guys on the perimeter. I know they've got a few guys that are injured. And then in the run game, they have two really good backs. One of them, like Coach said, is a big bruising back. He's not really a big home run guy, but he's a lot like some of the backs we've seen this year.
And what's it going to take to get the win tonight? What do we need to do defensively?
You know, what we've got to do is we've got to win first down, put them in favorable situations on third down, and then get off the field on third down. And, you know, our goal each game is to get 3 turnovers. You know, we haven't done that as much in the past few weeks, but we've got to create some turnovers tonight and get us off the field and give the ball back to our offense and let them go do what they do.
All right, let's go get them. I appreciate the time, Coach, as always. All right, well, stay with us. We're going to take our trip around the Sun Belt Conference coming up in just a couple of minutes. It is Troy at Ole Miss last week. You see these highlights? We'll show them to you. Also look at today's schedule when we get back on the Joey Jones Show on UTV 44.